not through technical issues here. And so with that, we are done with our newspapers headlines this morning, and we will go straight into in-depth analysis of what various newspapers reported across their their medium. And then with me to do that is here in the studio is Ibrahim Jubri Adavize. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Ibrahim is a public speaker and social commentator, and I believe that he'll be able to do justice. Not that I believe, something that I know, that he will be able to do this morning. And with that, let's start this morning, Ibrahim.
Yeah.
The Minister of Finance went to Davos to say that we are going to spend less, in borrowing. We are going to borrow less from the international community and focus more on the domestic, from tax, increase tax revenue and all that in order to fund our finances. Do you think that this government is genuine with what they are saying and with what we are saying on ground?
Thank you, AK, for having me. Good morning, Nigerians. Looking at that statement that was credited to the Minister of Defense, Minister of Finance,
yes,
it calls for scrutiny, actually, because the government have said quite a number of times that they will have to borrow to finance the 2026 budget. Now, and a couple of days ago, we learned that they have even started the process of securing this facility. So going to Davos to say that they are going to rely less on borrowing, is somehow not
contradicting.
Somehow contradicting, not entirely with what we were made to believe earlier and what is actually happening. Okay? In the actual sense, sincerity of purpose is what we believe is lacking, or the perception of most Nigerians is that government are not actually sincere with whatever they utter out, because there is no need for Nigeria to even borrow in the first place.
In the first place?
Yes.
Do you think that we can meet our revenue, projection, even with our oil production and not oil export?
Sure.
Without borrowing?
Without borrowing, yes. Without borrowing.
With the number of trillions that we budget year in, year out in our budget that we are going to do, and yet they will say we have deficit.
You see, first thing first, we have to cut down our recurrent expenditure. It's key. All those trillions, you hear for this, for that, are to me and to most Nigerians a waste of resources. Okay? We can't continue to live an extravagant lifestyle, all in the name of portraying to the world that, we are this, we are that, we are that.
Giant of Africa.
But in the
big
actual
brothers
sense,
of Nigeria.
thank you. But in the actual sense, you find out that all those spendings are not necessary. If at all we want to fix the problem of this nation, there are certain things that we need to do away with.
Like what?
The cost of governance, the cost of running the government in Nigeria is so expensive that you can't find it anywhere in the world.
Is it that we should trim down on our governance structure, like our government, like the legislators or the judiciary, or what? Or is it what they spend on their personal self while in the office?
There was a story that made headlines, a couple of days ago about the budget of a particular commission. I don't want to mention name.
Okay.
Being 246 billion, the entire commission. And 244 billion is to run the affairs of the personnel of that commission.
You can mention it's a public document.
It's a public document, but it's not part of the newspaper review that we are considering. So that alone tells you that we spend a lot of money
on personnel,
chasing illusions than what will bring development to this country. So we are not supposed to borrow in the first place. If the Minister of Finance is now saying that they are going to reduce our borrowing to focus on growth, he should please come out and clear the air based on the initial statement made that we are going to borrow to finance the 2026 budget, because these are somehow contradicting.
When you say we are not supposed to borrow,
yes,
I understand that there is no government in the world that does not borrow.
Okay.
But I think our major challenge here in Nigeria is that we borrow to finance our greed.
All right. So if we borrow to finance our greed, logically, are we supposed to borrow in the first place?
So we are not meant to borrow to finance. I think it is the anti-corruption agencies that we have in Nigeria that are supposed to do their job in the first place.
The anti-corruption agencies cannot do their job as it were supposed to be, because they are under the command of the person who intends to borrow to finance his or her greed.
Okay, if he's not saying...
No anti-corruption agency in Nigeria is actually independent. They took order.
But they have independence in their name, independent corruption practices and
yes, thank you, thank you. You said in their names, agreed. But in practice, are they actually independent? You and I know what is happening in EFCC, in ICPC, how EFCC, ICPC, and other public whatever will take up a matter, and at the end of the day, they will say, oh, we are withdrawing, okay, the prosecution counsel failed to prove, you know, the case beyond reasonable doubt and stuff like that. In the first place, before an anti-graft agency will delve into prosecuting a matter, especially if it is a matter concerning a public officer, you know, in this country, they are supposed to have all their, they are supposed to have done their investigation backdoor before even letting the public know about it.
Before even going to court.
That is it. But that is because somehow, somewhere, they are compelled, you know, to do certain things which ordinarily they don't even want to do in the first place. But because of that independence, in quote, that is not there, they will find it difficult to proceed with the way and manner they are supposed to do their job.
Now, still on borrowing,
yes,
and corruption cases, under President Buhari,
yes,
we know we had so many times the then president will go out to borrow either from China or from World Bank, and recently we are seeing in the pages of newspaper, even it was also reported today about DSS detaining our former minister of Malami, that's AGF and all that. Why the president was going out to borrow money with the court documents we have on ground now? We are saying that he had so many properties in billions of naira, you know, to himself.
Some in dollars.
Some in dollars. And so what do you think is the plan? So in the, like, to support your argument, so in the first place, we don't need to go and borrow to finance our budget.
Nigeria is so strategically positioned, that we have everything required, except the sincerity of purpose that is not there on the part of most Nigerians who are opportune to occupy public offices. I'll tell you something. During Buhari, may his soul rest in peace, our debt stood at, I think, roughly 72, 73 billion. Trillion.
Trillion, yes.
That is, Buhari met it around less than 50. In 8 years, it grew up to around 70, 75 trillion naira. Now, the president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, came in 2023, and as of today, in less than 2.5 years, you know what is happening? Over 154 trillion naira.
Double, more than 100%.
More than 100%. You know, now, during Buhari, subsidies were paid. Now, no more subsidy. During Buhari, that subsidy is being paid, or were being paid. Look at what our debt is. So, I mean, how can a sane person analyze this? That the government that pays subsidy borrow less than the government that is not paying subsidy? Now, during Buhari, we have seen so many capital projects. Okay? For example, I remember vividly the Mambila Power Plant project.
Yes. That one has been on and on for years.
Buhari secured loan
to build it.
To build
but we are hearing less about that now.
So the moment Buhari, may his soul rest in peace, left office, maybe all the facilities that have been acquired, maybe, has been diverted.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. There was a program I listened to on national telly one day, and the guest on that program was telling Nigerians that if at all Nigeria is a country that lives up to its name, no minister that served under Buhari should be working freely.
Wow. But they don't have evidence. Court will only accept the evidence.
But that was a statement made on national television. Nobody has countered that ban till today. I've been following up. Nobody.
But do you think it's a Nigerian problem that anybody that serves in the office, in public office, will come out worthy?
It is a Nigerian problem.
And that is why we keep on borrowing, right?
Of course, yes. Let me tell you what is happening in Japan, in China, and in Singapore.
Yes.
Whenever a public officer is convicted of corruption charges, you know what happens there?
Yeah, but we don't have such a law here.
So it is the responsibility of those lawmakers to ensure that a law that will prevent people, public officers especially, from stealing, from engaging in all forms of corruptions and money laundering activities, to instill such laws in our constitution.
But I believe that we have such laws that can also prevent people from stealing from government. It's just that we are manipulating.
It is one thing to ensure that a law is in place. It is another thing to ensure that that law, that framework is protected in such a way that the law can take its course anywhere. For example, we have heard about immunity. If someone is in the office, there is not supposed to be anybody that will take him or her to court, especially if he's a chief executive, a governor, you know, a president or what have you. That immunity, until it is stripped off these public office holders, we will continue like this. You know, President Musa Yar'Adua of blessed memory wanted to do that, but unfortunately, you know, Allah knows best.
Yes, but with immunity,
yes,
immunity clause in the Constitution,
yes,
I think it's to prevent distraction, you know, from people, political opponents there, because we've had cases of where these people have left government and nothing is done. Former President Obasanjo, we had the IPP project. Nobody, many presidents have come after him, nobody took him to anywhere. We had so many corruption cases under President Jonathan. Nobody took him anywhere. He is no more with immunity. President Buhari, before he died, we had many corruption cases, Emefiele and co. Nobody took him anywhere. So I think
no, Emefiele,
it's not all about immunity, because there are people that have left office.
Let me come in this way. Do you think a rat will ever wage war against a cat?
The cat will definitely eat the rat.
That is what is happening in Nigeria. While you are in the office, you made contact, you amass wealth, huge enough to destabilize anybody. Okay, what happened? We are seeing this Malami case now, and we are following up because there is a political undertone. We've had so many people, that were charged. At the end of the day, they go back door, settle themselves, because you can't prosecute somebody who is more powerful than you.
So are you saying that corruption is more powerful than the president of Nigeria?
Have you read Fighting Corruption is Difficult?
Yeah, by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Yes. Have you read it?
Yeah.
I think
not all.
Okay.
Corruption will fight back. And
definitely. And in a situation where you have more corrupt people in the system, a lot of people in Nigeria today are just waiting and praying, earnestly to God to give them opportunity so that they can also take their own share of the national cake. Okay? Why? Because they believe that once you get that thing, that chunk to yourself, you'll be able to fight, you'll be able to make your way through any corruption hurdles or charges that may be taken against you. So, corruption is our problem. And why is corruption still persisting in this country is because of the fact that certain things need to be addressed in our constitution with respect to fighting corruption. For example, the judiciary, they need total overhaul. That's why I was happy, I think, a couple of weeks ago when the NJC, screened out or some names on integrity basis,
Yes.
So I said, oh, okay, we are beginning to see something being done differently in judiciary.
But it could be that he is their political enemy too, that is also fighting those people that were screened out.
If I am a lawyer, for example, and you screen me out on integrity basis for a position I am vying for, I will go to court, that same court, to challenge you. So those people that were screened out, if they remain quiet, if they didn't do anything, they didn't protest,
Their case closed.
it means they are the way they have been described. That is it. So also the anti-graft agencies, they are not truly independent. The EFCC chairman, for example, the ICP head, for example, these people are not supposed to be taking instructions, or there should be a provision of the Constitution that will give them the authority to do what is right, irrespective of whoever is trying to influence them to do otherwise.
But in Nigeria, we don't have such system that can make you to resist person, the man, or whoever that appoints you, or the president or the governor that appoints you to that.
Then we should look at how others are doing it. If we don't have such laws, then I think
it's not that we don't have the laws. I don't totally agree that we don't have the laws that can strengthen our democracy.
So what you are trying to say is that someone is above the law. Someone can see what the law states and alter it for him or her to achieve what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve.
Yeah, but what we've seen, I think the systems allows you to look at the loophole of the law
Mm.
and
And
use that
capitalize
and
it.
capitalize on it.
So
and
for
use
how
it
long are we
technical-
going to continue looking at
So we should
loopholes?
fight the system that allows that.
That is what we are saying. That is what we are saying. The system is laws are in place, implementing or living up to expectations are shaking. So we have to address such lacuna to ensure that, okay, at least if I do it today and I get away with it, the next person coming will not get away with it if at all he or she does the same thing. Okay, so that is our problem. A lot of people are squandering the resources of this nation, majority of which were borrowed. And that is why you see at a time in this country, we've seen past governors, past ministers, past head of agencies and parastatals milking dry the resources of the entity they are asked to oversee. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. So for how long are we going to continue like this?
Now, for how long are we going to continue like this? Let me just take you to the issue of tax before we go on a short break.
All right.
Now, he talked about boosting the tax so that we get more revenue from, instead of borrowing, from the international, market or international communities.
Okay.
Don't you think that the tax burden will be more on Nigerians? Because we are paying tax almost on everything. You buy anything, you pay VAT. You make transaction on your banking, you pay VAT. You go to, even if it's just Sydney, you are buying in some places, you pay VAT. Even logistics, you do that. So Nigeria, I don't believe that Nigerians are not paying tax. We are all paying tax. The way I pay my tax may be different from each other. Maybe what they refer to as tax, maybe personal income tax, and maybe most Nigerians are not paying that, because you also consider how many Nigerians are in the formal sector.